Preparedness is key, and today I'm here to guide you to the best emergency radios out there, backed with honest and reliable reviews. I have done an extensive review of the top 3 emergency radios, and I discuss all their key features and what things to consider before you pick the best one for you. Trust me, you'll want to stay with me till the end to make a wise and informed choice. Price information and all emergency radios mentioned in the video are available in the description. So let's get started. Number 3, FosPower Original, best budget emergency radio. This compact portable emergency weather radio is simply designed using analog functionality and manual switches to move between modes, improving power usage compared to LCD display counterparts. The FosPower Original picks up NOAA, AM, and FM radio stations, but won't receive weather updates unless the radio is turned on and you are turned into a weather station. Sound quality is reasonable, and reception can be improved by extending the small telescoping antenna tucked neatly into the body of the radio. FosPower Original's greatest feature is its multiple power options, as it comes with a 2000 mAh battery, which can be recharged via a micro USB port from the mains, from a hard crank, and via an inbuilt solar panel on the top. In addition, it has a separate battery compartment which takes 3 AA batteries, which can be turned on by switching the battery mode over. Main power charging is the most effective way of keeping this radio fully charged, however. A steady hand crank over 4 hours can also fully charge the battery if you have the time, patience, and endurance. The solar panels are not recommended for charging the device as it is very slow. It is best used to elongate battery use on sunny days. A small light near the tuner panel glows red when the radio is recharging and will turn green when the battery is fully recharged. This radio can act as a cell phone charger, though of course it will drain the batteries to do so. However, especially with the crank handle option, you can get enough power into a mobile device to make calls. Don't expect it to charge the phone fast or fully though. Underneath the radio is a toggle switch between SOS alarm, off, and cell phone charger mode, which people seem to forget about. Switching this toggle to SOS activates an incredibly loud siren and turns on a flashing red beacon, though the radio doesn't emit an SOS radio signal. A reading light is tucked under the solar panels, which you tilt up to access, and a small telescopic antenna is tucked into the body of the radio, well out of the way. The flashlight beam focus is adjustable by twisting the casing at the front. On the downside, it does have to be on if you want to receive alerts, and it has no headphone jack for private listening. Overall, this is the best budget emergency radio we've reviewed. It's great for outdoor use as its fairly durable, hard plastic casing is water resistant, and it comes with a lanyard and carabiner, making it easy to carry around. Note that this model was upgraded in 2020, and you can now get versions with a 4000 mAh battery and or digital LCD screen. Before moving to the next emergency radio, it would really help us continue making more videos if you support us by just hitting the like button and subscribe, or even with a comment so that we know if you like it or if there's something we can do to improve next time. I promise, it costs nothing, just a few seconds. Number 2, Sangean MMR99 Emergency Weather Radio, best premium emergency radio. One look at this radio and you can tell that it's designed to handle rough use and can work off multiple power sources. But what really seals the deal here is that this is a modern and capable radio with great features. Sangean MMR99 Emergency Weather Radio has a tough plastic casing around its side edges and corners. It's something like armored cases for phones, but wider and probably a bit tougher. It adds to the ruggedness and overall emergency device look for the radio. As an emergency radio, the device supports multiple power options. There's a solar panel on the top and a hand crank at the back, so even if you're far from civilization and don't have access to power, you can still keep the radio running. If you have access to power, you can use the USB-C input to charge the 2600 mAh lithium battery. That's a rather quick and efficient way to power it up. On the right side of the radio, there are 2 flaps. One of these covers the USB-C input and a USB-A output port. The latter can be used for charging or powering similar devices. The other flap covers 2 3.5mm jacks. One of these is for attaching microphones, while the other works as an auxiliary line input for the radio. The presence of these flaps is useful for protecting the radio from the elements. It has a protection rating of IP55, which means that it's reasonably protected from dust, and while not waterproof, it can survive a heavy rain shower. A triple LED light finds room on the other side of the radio. This one supports 15 lighting combinations, including SOS. The flashlight has 2 white LEDs and a red LED. The combination of of lighting and options to change intensity can be pretty useful. When in SOS mode, a white and red LED blink together, while the alarm slowly picks up volume to alert those around the radio. Sangean MMR-99 emergency weather radio receives AM and FM broadcasts and has a memory bank of 40 station presets. It also receives 7 NOAA weather channels, so you can remain up to date with the expected weather. The FM mode here supports RBDS, so where applicable, the radio will show channel names instead of plain frequency. And if you're listening to songs, it might even pick up song names on the radio. It can also sync its clock with that of the radio station, so the time remains accurate. It also supports Bluetooth streaming, which is very welcome, considering that this Sangean radio has a remarkably good speaker. The sound quality is loud, clear, and quite impressive. Overall, Sangean MMR-99 is a great emergency weather radio. It has a wide range of features, great build quality, and supports multiple power inputs. The device is a bit on the heavier side and expensive. However, its quality more than makes up for these shortcomings. Number 1. Kaito Voyager KA500, our top choice. Kaito Voyager KA500 is an excellent mix of versatility and value. It is a NOAA-certified weather radio, can pick up a variety of signals, and carries an acceptable price tag. The radio uses an analog interface, and even though a digital interface would have made this radio even better, the analog interface has its uses and is intuitive. Kaito handles the digital touch with the next higher model, the Kaito Voyager KA600. Apart from conventional emergency radio features, this model also includes an alarm clock and digital display. The temperature and humidity display is a pretty nice touch, though they're missing in KA500. However, the KA600 comes at a steeper price when compared to the KA500. Voyager KA500 handles its analog interface elegantly. Half the radio's space is dedicated to the speaker, while the remaining area shows some knobs and a prominent frequency display selector. The first knob opens selection for one of the 7 NOAA channels. Next comes the band selector. The radio works with FM, AM, SW1, SW2, and NOAA weather bands. Finally, there's the power selector, which includes the option to keep the radio on the weather alert setting. Kaito KA500's weather alert works on PEAS, Public Emergency Alert System. It's a useful and adequate system, though I feel SAME, Specific Area Message Encoding, is a better choice for emergency radios. On the right side of the radio is the frequency tuning dial, volume knob, and an LED flashlight. Though tiny, the flashlight is strong. The use of an LED chip instead of lamps shines quite literally in this case. While we're on the topic, all lights on the radio are functionally decent. The reading light has 5 LEDs that provide sufficient ambient light. A dimmer would have made these better, but the current function is acceptable too. Then there's the red SOS beacon that blinks when activated. It should be sufficient to catch someone's attention, example, rescuers. Should you find yourself in a fix, the SOS beacon and the reading light are located on the top of the radio. The left side holds the hand crank to get the dynamo rolling. At first glance, the crank and its attachment look flimsy, as if it would break once you start cranking this emergency radio. Thankfully, it's working and connections are all solid. Cranking for 2 to 3 minutes charges the battery enough to last for 10 to 15 minutes. Speaking of the battery, the radio features a rechargeable 600 mAh NIM battery. It's adequate to run the radio and even charge your devices like a mobile phone, though as you may have noticed, the battery capacity is low. As such, the phone charging is very limited. You can probably nudge the battery indicator up by 1 or 2% when the phone battery is low. For an emergency, the charging should be enough to give you a minute or so of talk time. Kaito Voyager KA500's versatility is partly due to the way this radio draws power. It's conventionally a 4-way power radio, which means it can draw power from 4 different sources. However, it uses some modifications which increase the options to keep the radio powered. These are hand crank solar power, AA batteries, 3, 5-volt AC-DC input with power adapter, and 5-volt USB input, example, from a power bank. It's also possible to use a replacement NIM battery. The well-secured battery compartment includes room for the rechargeable battery and the AA batteries. Right beside it is a protective rubber flap that covers many connectivity and charging options. These include a headphone jack, micro USB jack, AC power adapter jack, and a USB jack. A tiny on-off switch controls power to the USB jack for easier handling. Though tiny, the on-off switch is notable and important. You shouldn't charge a device, like a mobile phone, while the radio is charging. Overall, the Kaito Voyager KA500 is a decently built emergency radio with a good range of features and versatile functions. So what do you think? Which of these is the best emergency radio for you? Or do you think another other radio is better? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Have an awesome day.